Philly Sports Talk with Cas and Chris is on. Yes, it is Thursday night, but we are here. This would typically be the show where we go ahead and talk about and break down how the Eagles defeated the Commanders this past weekend in the NFC Championship game. How they did it, why they did it, what they did to make it happen. But hey, we don't need to do that. Just replay last week's episode and you'll hear everything because Bobby Cash explained it to you. Hey, but the Eagles are back in the Super Bowl. And, you know, Bobby, one thing we don't do, at least I don't think we do, is we don't really brag. But, hey, I think we can a little bit.
Brag? What, about our predictions or about our team?
About both, but really about the team.
It's kind of like, what's the word? I mean, cautiously optimistic, I guess, going in. It's worst case scenario about who we're playing. It's good to be there, but once we found out it was them, it was like, oh.
Yeah, well, I think it got to be inevitable that it was going to be them. Hey, before we take a short break, at least we're not Dallas.
Yeah, they got the longest streak in football, right?
In the NFC, at least. We'll be right back.
Yep.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iSportsRadio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't understand what we said there at the opening, since the turn of this century, the Dallas Cowboys are the only team not to make the NFC Championship game in the NFC, and that just seems, wow, that's just staggering seeing what we grew up with, especially going through the 90s with the Dallas Cowboys.
Right. I mean, they were the quote gold standard back then. I mean, it was everybody was chasing them. Now it's like everybody's chasing the Eagles. It seems like now it's been a complete role reversal. Looks like I got my myself straightened out now. I changed my background, did a lot of movement in the break there.
Good. Yeah, you seem a little bit low compared to me in the picture, but that's okay.
I don't know why. I guess my chair's too low. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tilt that back a little bit, and we'll
Look,
kind
I
of
can stand up.
Yeah, that'll work. You know,
too tired to stand up.
A question I have for you.
Yeah.
And it's a question for all football fans, especially fans of the Eagles. Are the Eagles that good, or did they have an easy path to the Super Bowl?
I guess you give them the old "they beat who was in front of them" speech, right? I mean,
that's really all you can do.
The toughest team they played was probably in the first round. Packers. Sure. I mean, sometimes it just works out that way with the way they do the division winners, and they just happen to be in the division with the Lions and Vikings, where they had superior records. And they were probably three of the top four teams in the conference. Those three teams, the Lions, Vikings, and Packers, and they just happen to be in the same division.
After watching what they did to Washington, I mean, okay, Washington was a team, and as you said last time, mm-hmm. was very, very, very beatable. And if the Eagles didn't beat them, it was essentially the Eagles would have beat themselves instead of Washington winning the game.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even see it as a contest. Especially Sunday morning when I woke up, I had that feeling again where we were just going to destroy them, and that was all my tweets were total destruction's coming. I mean, it wasn't even going to be a contest. There was no matchup on the field where they won.
And you know what? And now that I sit here and I look back and I analyze this, and look, I'm not going in depth, looking at numbers, position by position, who lines up against who and everything. You know what? I think the Eagles would have done almost the exact same thing if they went to Detroit in the NFC Championship game. I honestly do.
I mean, it probably would have scored almost the same. Detroit wasn't going to stop them, especially with the defense. Detroit's offense might have been a little tougher. We might have had a little more trouble stopping Jahmyr Gibbs. They had no run game. To this day, I don't know why Washington even tried to run the ball. They had no shot at gaining yards on the ground. That Brian Robinson was the perfect running back for the Eagles to face. Just like the Super Bowl, I'm going to wait for more people to come in before I get in my Super Bowl analysis. I don't even know if we should fully do it this week because we have another week to do still.
Right.
Yeah, I want to go over, what I think is the key to the game that basically nobody's talking about as usual. I mean, how is nobody talking about what I showed you today? I just don't get it. That's what makes the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't guided by their exceptional offense this year. It isn't your aerial attack, your ground attack, your Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, 1-2 punch. It's not like that. Their offense is very, it's pedestrian. It's like it's a beatable offense. It's their defense that carries them. It's their defense that scares me.
Yeah, and there's going to be the issue with the game. I mean, I think it's going to be a matter of the Eagles having to adjust. They're going to have to figure out a way to stop the blitz for sure, especially if they get themselves into 3rd and long. They're really going to have to stop it when they're in downs that are absolute pass downs.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it could be a problem.
Which is why it's going to be so important that they be able to run the ball on 1st and 2nd down, and get it to 2nd and 4, get it to 3rd and 2. I mean that's going to be paramount in the game. This is going to be, but they're playing Steve Spagnuolo. That's who I don't hear mentioned. I don't hear that name said on our radio. I don't hear that name said on Comcast Sportsnet. It's all about, rah-rah cheer stuff. Oh, we're back. We're this. We're the better team. They don't get in depth. They don't talk about it. How he's a mastermind defensive coordinator.
This is the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions.
And Spagnuolo is a genius, a defensive genius. I mean, he'll be able to adjust at halftime.
Right.
I told somebody today that if the Eagles are winning 24-3 at halftime, I'm not celebrating yet.
No. In fact,
it's not over.
In fact, take the Chiefs.
All right.
Hey, how badly do you want to see a Super Bowl win and put that amount on the Chiefs? Because it couldn't end up paying out. Yeah, like I said, it's not just some team that all of a sudden popped up and is there by surprise. You look at the Buffalo Bills. The Chiefs have their number, but it's because the Bills can't figure them out.
Well, did I send you the video? I don't think I sent it to you. There was 5 plays where they got a 1st down, and the referee said they didn't get the 1st down. I'm not just talking about the sneak. I'm talking about the run by James Cook for 11 yards. It was clearly an 11-yard run. The Amari Cooper 1st down.
I have to
where
see
they
that.
moved the ball back 2 yards. It was incredible it's not just cry. I'm not a Bills fan, so I'm not crying about it. It's me as a neutral sports fan looking at these videos, and it's blatant. It's blatant how these balls were moved back. I mean, I feel bad. I really do for the Buffalo Bills fans. I think they were robbed. I'm afraid it's going to happen to us. That's your fear. You're not just playing Mahomes and the Chiefs. You're playing the referees.
Well, if you have a 30-point lead in the 4th quarter, that might not be an issue.
That's I was just going to say to you, the only way I'll feel comfortable is they're up by 21 with less than 5 minutes left. That's the only way. They're up by 2 touchdowns or less. This game isn't over, and I'm not celebrating anything.
No, exactly. You're right when you talk about the defense of the Chiefs. That's probably, that's probably what the game will come down to. And like you said, it's not so much concerning on the offense. And I think really early in the game, you can neutralize, or you can change things or change plans or put it in the Chiefs' mind. Hey, everybody's got a great game plan until Jalen Carter smacks you in the mouth. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Patrick Mahomes.
Or not. You brought up Jalen Carter. He's another point I was going to talk about tonight.
He held every play.
Huh? What's that?
He's held every play.
Yeah. And if you would have told me when we drafted Jalen Carter that we basically forget about Fletcher Cox, I wouldn't believe it, but guess what? We have. And Jalen Carter right now, at this point in his career, I don't know if you're going to agree. I think he's better now than Fletcher Cox ever was. I think he's a better player right now than Fletcher Cox. I never saw Fletcher Cox have this kind of impact on a game.
No, I don't think you would have ever heard the argument. Well, if early on one of the first 2 drives, Fletcher Cox can get to the quarterback, that's going to set the tone. Here, I think it will. And like you said, it's going to be that fear to where, especially now that it's the Super Bowl, and every play is going to be magnetized. And I can see it if the Eagles don't win, somebody putting together I would probably say it'd probably be about 15 minutes of Jalen Carter being held and it not being called. Yeah.
So just like Washington was missing the guard, they're also going to be missing a guard, offensive guard. I mean, is it our luck this year that we're playing teams that have injuries and we don't have injuries? I mean, I anticipate our guys will be back. I think Dickerson and Jurgens will be 100% by the time 2 weeks rolls around.
I think so.
Brandon Graham, I don't know if that's going to really be a plus. I mean, I think that may be more of a decoy type of thing. I don't think he's going to make a big impact because they've been fine without him. They've had Jalen Hunt. He's looked great. He's on the same side as as Sweat, and and you have Sweat on that side, and you've basically eliminated Huff from the game. He doesn't play anymore, so that's been a good thing. Nolan Smith's been unbelievable. And you've got the two big hogs up in the middle. So I mean, you basically cannot run the ball between tackles on the Eagles. You can't do it. And the Chiefs, Andy Reid's smart enough to realize that they can't. He knows that coming in. They're not even going to try. I don't think. If they try, I'll be shocked.
No, and I would go the other way. I think at some point he's going to try it to put it in the mind that this is what they're trying to do, and maybe give the Eagles that thought in their mind. Okay, well, we got this, and then they'll start going away from it. But I could be right. He might not even try it, realizing it's not.
Yeah, I think this is a game where you see Mahomes throw the ball 40 times
easily.
Yeah, and I also think he's going to struggle. I don't think they're going to score. I think our defense is going to. I think we're going to hold them. I think we could hold them to 20 points. I really do.
Those runs, not that Mahomes really has any designed runs, but when things break down, he picks up. I'm hoping we don't see that, because those have been plays that have carried the Chiefs when they should have been really backed up. He's been able to get some runs.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do that against the Eagles. At least I hope not. And the other thing, I don't know if this will make that big of a difference, but if the Eagles can get that early turnover, I hope that could just cement that in the mind that, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're in to the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs are going to panic, but I think just putting that in their mind, I think would be a good thing, especially if they cause a fumble with Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, if they get the ball first, the Chiefs and the Eagles can stop them. That would be huge. But I mean, you don't ever see penalties on the Chiefs on offense. You never see them in a 1st and 20 situation or a 2nd and 15. It's always 2nd and 6, 3rd and 3. They're always manageable positions. They're never. They don't hold. Well, I'm sure they do hold, but that doesn't get called. And I think the Eagles can stop their passing game. I really do. I don't think that Xavier Worthy and Juju Smith-Schuster and they get back Hollywood Brown. I don't see them being a problem. I really don't.
Yeah, you would hope not. And
it's Kelsey. Who's going to cover Kelsey?
Well,
is Zach Bond that good that he can cover? We'll see.
I'm gonna say right now it's an interesting matchup, and I'm gonna say I think so.
He's passed every other test this season. He's all pro. I mean,
that's the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, roster wise, the Eagles are the better team. They got one player that's better, and I guess we're gonna find out what's more important: better team or the better quarterback.
Do you? And I know, like I said, there'll be. No matter how much we talk about it tonight, there'll be tons more next week. When you look at, and this has been the story this year, and I don't think it's been overlooked, but I don't know if enough emphasis is going to be made on it, and I certainly don't want us to overlook it. But when you get through the first half, you're into the third quarter. It's grinding towards the fourth quarter. The lines the Eagles have are putting punishment on the other lines, and that just changes the game.
Absolutely.
Not to say they can't, they don't do that early, but I'm just saying the wear and tear and the attrition it takes from the other lines to
Absolutely.
put up what the Eagles have. by
That's-
third.
That's the way the Eagles are built. The Eagles are built that way. They're built to win in the trenches, and nobody does it better. That's their whole philosophy. Win the line of scrimmage. It's going to make everybody look better. It's going to make your quarterback look better. It's going to make your running back look better. It's going to make your wide receivers look better. It just by giving a quarterback time, that's the key to football. And I guess I'll get in there with the 45 people in here. The Chiefs are going to blitz. They're going to blitz from every angle. They're going to blitz from a linebacker position. They're going to blitz from the cornerback position. When they blitz from the cornerback position, the safety is going to have to cover that wide receiver, obviously. That leaves what? The middle of the field wide open. Okay, that's where you're going to have to go with Dallas Goedert down the middle of the field. You're going to have to run Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, slants. Is Jalen Hurts going to be coached up on this? Or is he just going to tuck under and fall to the ground? He hasn't been able to handle the blitz. He hasn't. I've never seen where he's been able to handle pressure coming from the sides. That's what they're going to do to him, just like they did to Josh Allen.
Right.
They blitz from the sides.
And what do you do with Barkley? What do you do with Gainwell? Do you use them into chip block? Do you use them in?
I'm worried about that. I'm worried about Barkley getting injured. I think that's part of the Chiefs' plan. They're going to blitz early and often try to hurt Saquon Barkley. I think on a block.
And just like kind of a reverse and just pound on him that way.
So what do? It's the Eagles. You run the freaking ball. You run the ball 35, 40 times. I wouldn't pass more than 20 times in this game.
No, and
the Eagles are one of the few teams in the league that have the ability to run, make a bigger play on the ground than they do in the air.
Oh, absolutely they do. And
Saquon Barkley 80-yard touchdown is more likely than an AJ Brown 80-yard touchdown.
And my thinking and my going back over these other games too is once again, halftime, the defensive line for the opposing team is trying to recuperate from what they went through. The Eagles at halftime are getting their footing and getting ready to do more than what they've already done. Yeah. So
speaking of footing, deleted. The Eagles are going to have footing in this game versus the 2022 Super Bowl. That's when there was no, it's indoors. There's not going to be the turf god or whatever his name was.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He's not going to be there putting the sod. What's his name? Sod father. He's not going to be around for this Super Bowl. This is all turf.
Well,
usually I don't like turf. I know it usually causes injuries, but at least it's going to make both teams be on the same footing and make the defense able to get pressure on Mahomes for once.
Well, I think given the fact that the Chiefs have won back-to-back Super Bowls and they're here again, I really think they should take in the nightlife that New Orleans offers the night before, especially the night before Super Bowl. They should really go and take it in and stroll down Bourbon Street and check out some of the places there and some of the things that are offered and some of the beverages. And, I really think they should. I mean, they really owe it to themselves.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a Philadelphia cook or a bartender from Philadelphia. Well, put a little extra Jack in their drink.
Now, given that now that I'm thinking about that, and given that it's the Super Bowl, I still think we see more green than we do red, right? Even though they're probably going to be white, but their fans would wear red.
They are wearing white, and then, like I said, the Eagles should wear white gloves because the black gloves on the white jerseys they tend to show the holds a little more.
Yep, the Eagles could wear their black jerseys and their black gloves.
Yeah, I don't think they're wearing black. They're wearing the same colors they wore this week, the green.
Yeah.
It seems to be when they wear that jersey. And they win the Super Bowl in that jersey? I think they did.
I believe so. Yeah, that's the jersey they wore. Yeah, that's the one. I'm flashing back to the Nick Foles picture.
Wait, we won it. We won it in an AFC stadium, didn't we? That doesn't determine the home team. It just goes every other year. It doesn't matter if they're playing in an AFC or NFC park.
They won it in Minnesota, in Minneapolis.
Right. Oh, right. Why am I thinking Jacksonville?
Where is that? Where? Yeah, because that's.
So we played them in Arizona last time, and who was the home team? The Eagles were home against the Chiefs. Yeah, I guess they were.
Yeah, it may have been. Yeah, I think Jacksonville was the game that they lost. That Donovan McNabb lost to the Patriots.
Yeah, it was the Patriots.
Yeah, that was in Jacksonville.
Yep.
No, and we can get into this more obviously next week, but there's a lot on the line when you talk about legacy for the Chiefs. There's a lot on the line with legacy for the Eagles too.
Sure.
I mean, you want to put together a story, and wow, you see Jalen Hurts standing up there with a Lombardi trophy. Think about it. The night he was drafted, he was taken. Nobody thought that name was coming out of his mouth.
I know. That when you say about legacy, the person who drafted him comes to mind. I mean, he's been in 3 Super Bowls in 8 seasons now, and if they win this one, he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, without question.
Howie Roseman will be in the NFL Hall of Fame.
He might be in anyway.
He might be the least athletic person to ever be in a sports Hall of Fame.
That's funny. You know what else is funny? The reason they drafted him will be on the bench on the other side.
And the Eagles, I was just going to say that they've never lost a game in the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz on a bench.
I saw that.
Yeah. So wouldn't it be something if he ended up in the game?
Well, hopefully he's in the game, just ceremonial.
But imagine if things came full circle. Patrick Mahomes twists an ankle in the first quarter, and then Carson Wentz comes in and wins the game.
Oh boy. Well, don't put that in anyone's head.
That would be a movie.
Don't put that in any script. I'm hoping he just comes in for a play late in the game because it's already over, and they're just, he's just getting a chance.
I wouldn't put it past Andy to do some kind of play where he sends Mahomes out as a wide receiver and brings in Wentz.
Yeah,
he runs like a quarterback draw up the middle for like 20 yards.
What would that be? The Bundle Rooski from the commercial?
Yeah, Bundle Rooski.
Well, here's the question though: if the Eagles win this, how many commercials does Sirianni get? Because hey,
I know. I was thinking that because they're in every commercial.
Sirianni could do commercials,
but also Sirianni's legacy. How many years does he end up being our coach if he wins this game?
Oh boy!
I mean, I know it didn't work out for Doug Peterson, and I know Philadelphia, has a short. I don't know what short temper or short
attention span. Yeah.
I mean, if they have one losing season, they'll want him gone. But you got to remember what he's done here. I mean, he's never missed the playoffs. His career record's insane, and he'll be in 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. You're going to replace this guy with who?
Hey, as long as you don't have to face Tampa in the playoffs, things work out.
Right.
That's just the way. The way it's kind of played out.
But what do you see him getting? A 5-year deal? I mean, he has to be, right? He has to.
Oh yeah. And it's funny because we sat here last year and we're talking about the Chiefs 49ers, and I could bring up my social media pic of where I was more interested in reading a book during that Super Bowl. Come a year later, given where the Eagles were and how they ended that season a year ago to be where they are now, I don't think we expected it. Even getting Saquon Barkley, we didn't expect it.
Well, yeah, he's the key. That's the whole key. I mean, nobody thought he'd be this good. We thought he would probably end up injured, and he didn't. And it's hard to get injured when you don't get touched, frankly. I mean, he doesn't get touched on a lot of plays. I mean, the yardage he gains, he gains, 25 yards before he's touched a lot of times. It was a great job, and that leads me to another thing I just thought was we're going to lose our offensive coordinator again.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be 7 straight years with a different offensive coordinator for the Eagles.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Kellen Moore is going to go to the Saints.
And, the last thing I was going to say about Barkley was, look, I'm old. I've seen a lot of running backs. I've seen the best running backs, okay? What he can do in the open field to make guys miss, there's only a handful of guys that were able to do that. And I mean, we're talking Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders.
That's what I've been telling my kids. I mean, I've been telling my kids that he's the best running back I've ever seen play. I mean, they were like, but you saw Barry Sanders. I said, Barry Sanders, yeah, but he never won anything.
No. And even though Barry Sanders was a guy who, could make you miss tackles and things in the field, he wasn't so much of. He was more of a cutting guy, not that spin or break that tackle and things. I mean, he did all those things obviously because he's arguably the best ever. Yeah. But you're right. When you think of Barry Sanders, I mean, two things come to mind: unbelievable talent. I don't even know if they won a playoff game with him.
Well, they did. They made it to the championship game in '94.
They did. Boy.
That's when the Redskins, that was their last time there. They played the Lions. Am I wrong?
I don't know. 1994 NFC Championship game. You might be right.
I know they played them. I don't know. I could be wrong that it was the championship, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Because I remember the Eagles put a pretty good beating on them in a playoff game.
Yeah, like 55 or 48 to 10.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun until the next week when they lost to Dallas. But
all right, well, it wasn't '94. What was the year? What was the year that Washington? They said it had been how long since Washington's been in the championship game?
It's got to be the year, right, that they ended up beating the Bills in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Is that 90? That's a good question. 92? 91?
NFC Championship. Washington Redskins 41, Detroit Lions 10, 1992.
1992. Yeah, so I made a mistake last week though. When I said that the Lions weren't in an NFC Championship game before last year. Obviously they were. They showed up. I don't obviously they weren't in the game. That's how much I'm trying
to see if Barry Sanders was on the team. He was. The quarterback was Eric Kramer. The wide receivers were Herman Moore and Brett Perryman.
Wow.
Coach was Fortes. Remember him, Wayne Fortes?
I do.
Mark Rippon was the quarter. So here you go. There's an example right here. Mark Rippon was 12 for 17 in the game for 228 yards. He threw 17 times. All you have to do sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes that's true. I don't know if I mentioned this last week when we were talking about the possibility of a Super Bowl, but that was back there when the Bills kept losing. That's why I was hoping it was the Bills, so then the Eagles could complete the circle there, where every NFC East team beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. But hey, it should have been the Bills. It should have been the Bills. It should have been any Super Bowl win is going to be satisfying, fulfilling, over the top. It's going to be emotional. It's going to bring tears. It's going to do all those things. But come on, it's going to be even more satisfying if they take down the Chiefs. It's the best it would be the second time we beat the best. I mean, that's definitely, you can't ask for anything more than that. It's not a Mickey Mouse Super Bowl or Mickey Mouse championship. It would be a totally legit championship and Super Bowl for the that you would never forget. It's not that they beat a Texans team that just so happened to fall into it and ready for this one. It's not like they beat the Tampa Bay Rays or the Kansas City Royals. Good point. Can't say that about the Sixers, even though you go back. Yeah, they beat the Lakers, right? They also beat the best. That was the dynasty Lakers. Yeah. That's a win right there. How about the win the Sixers had over the Lakers the other night? Lakers were playing back-to-backs. I expected it. Yeah, the night before they were in Charlotte. I guess. I mean, not that we're making this a turn away from what the Eagles are doing, but because let me just say this before we get off the Eagles real quick. Eagles winning the Super Bowl will cover a lot of faults that are going on with these other teams. And what the Eagles are doing is covering a lot of what's going on. I mean, obviously the Sixers have won 4 straight. We're not going to do our predictions tonight because
we want you to tune in next week.
Absolutely.
And I frankly don't have my prediction yet.
Oh no, there's any number of things that can happen. We do absolutely want to see the health of Juergens going forward, and especially the health of the Eagles.
Yeah, I have to get out my crystal ball and see how Jalen Hurts is going to handle the blitz.
It's true.
Maybe they won't do it. Maybe they'll stay because the Chiefs don't have the best secondary, as you saw with Josh Allen. When he had time, he was completing passes to wide open receivers. Their secondary, besides McDuffie, is beatable, very beatable.
Yeah, and like you said, I agree with that. It's going to be interesting to just sit and nitpick these things going forward. And when you bring up Hurts, you're right. I don't know. Maybe he can beat him with his legs. I don't know. Maybe at some point with what all they're doing, hey, beating them with his legs and Barkley's legs, I don't care. Just beat them.
I mean, if they come off the edges like that and he just runs right up the middle and the line opens up a hole, hey, I'll take it.
Right.
I can't see him sitting in the pocket and taking a hit and completing a pass. I've never seen him do that.
You know, we didn't mention this, but they ran for 7 touchdowns on Sunday.
Yeah, they scored 8. They scored 8 of them. So yeah,
7 rushing. That's. I think 6 will beat the Chiefs. 6 rushing touchdowns will beat the Chiefs. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think we're going to be. I don't want to say numbers, but I think we're going to be up there in points. I do. I think we might even score the touchdown on special teams.
Could be.
We haven't done one. We haven't scored one all year. I've been saying that Cooper DeJean is going to score a touchdown on special teams. I feel it coming.
Oh, I hope you're right.
He has that ability.
I hope he scores the one that breaks the back of the Chiefs.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
You know, here's the interesting thing about this game. When you look back 2 years ago, it was new for the Eagles. It wasn't new. It wasn't so new for the Chiefs because Mahomes and the Chiefs and Reed, they've already won a Super Bowl before that. And they had been there. Now, look, this isn't new for the Eagles. It isn't new for Hurts. It isn't new for Sirianni. It isn't new for Lane Johnson. It isn't new for a number of these guys. Right. I mean, it's that the mystique of the Super Bowl is one thing. The mystique of it being new and overwhelming, that's not a factor in the game for either team. So maybe, you know, it's that whole thing that nobody's ever won 3 in a row. Okay, there's the pressure on the Chiefs. Hey, Eagles, stop it.
I mean, didn't the Eagles win 3 championships in a row? No, they won 2, right? 49-50.
Yeah, it may have been 2. Hey, but why can't they win this one and win the next 2? That's how you got to look at it if you're the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have that type of team. I mean, nobody's going anywhere, really. I mean, there's no guys coming to the end of their contracts.
No, and I don't see there being that surprise team next year either. I mean, Washington was a surprise this year.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get better. Josh Harris put out a statement today saying we won't stop until we win a championship.
Well, how's that
supposed to say, right?
How's that worked for him with the Devils and the Sixers?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he hasn't stopped with them either.
Yeah. So, believe me, he won't stop until they win a championship. Yeah, right. Until another interest comes along. If there's a chance to buy the Astros or something, yeah, just wait.
He tried to get the Mets. He tried.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So if we shift gears, I mean, okay, Flyers minute. Boo, who cares? I'm playing tonight. Yeah. I'll check the score. Whatever.
They're playing again?
They're playing the Islanders.
Because they went to the Devils last night. Yeah.
It's on ESPN Plus, so it's one of those games where if you don't have that, you don't get it. And the Sixers have won 4 straight. I guess they're not really tanking.
Well, speaking of robberies, we talked about the Bills getting robbed. Tyrese Maxey did not make the All-Star team. Are you kidding me?
Right.
He's 6th in the league in scoring and 3rd in steals. What is this? Some kind of Sixers Philadelphia bias. I mean, he's got to get in, right? There's got to be guys that are going to be hurt and he'll be a replacement. There's no way he doesn't end up on the team.
But that's not the point. I mean, he should be there. I mean,
Right.
I don't know why I can't. I just sit and shake my head with that. I can't figure it out why. Flyers Islanders 0-0 after one period.
Oh, back to your question. Yeah, they won 4 straight. They're not tanking. They're playing good. They have some good young players. I don't know how to take Ricky Council. I mean, you hear the name Ricky Council and you're like, this guy stinks. But is he the type of guy that, he's like the Miami Heat? They found him and he's really good. I mean, he's going to be like a Caleb Martin or a guy like that ends up having a long career, a Robert Covington type player.
Well, what's gotten into Eric Gordon? Eric Gordon's playing well.
He might have got his legs under him. I mean, he's a veteran that knows how to play the game. He's actually a better defender than I gave him credit for.
He's what PJ Tucker was supposed to be.
Right. That's what he is.
He is.
He's that player. I mean, is he good trade bait? I think so. Do you go out and try to get Jimmy Butler?
Oh boy.
I think you could. I think you could get rid of the expiring contracts of Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon. That might be what they're looking for.
Isn't Butler's expiring at the end of this year?
Yeah. Maybe we could bring him back for a year or two. I don't know. I haven't seen him play this year. I don't know if he's at the end, if he's lost a step.
Well, he hasn't played much. He's been suspended a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be there.
Mm-mm.
He's talked his way out. I mean, he might be able to get him on the cheap.
I think you could get him.
If you get him and you sneak into the playoffs and they all get healthy, are you the best team in the East?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you get him and everyone's healthy and you get the best out of him,
yeah.
Wow.
He loves the team. He loves Embiid.
That's just the question. I mean, Paul George can't stay healthy. Embiid, I mean, look, I think I was discussing this with my brother the other day. When he plays, as soon as he's done, that knee's going. If that knee's swelling after what he's done now, he's never going to be able to play on a full schedule because it's going to make it worse.
Well, is that what they're doing? Are they holding him for the playoffs? Is that what their plan is? Are they trying to get in?
Boy,
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know because even if that's true, that's okay. Let's say that's what they're doing. There's no guarantee game one he doesn't get hurt.
I know.
That's the problem.
I know.
That's the problem.
There's no guarantee anything. Yeah, I mean, he could fall down and he's out 4 more games. I mean,
right.
Plus he won't be conditioned. I mean, if you try to get him back for the playoffs, what conditioning is he going to have? He's going to be slow, lazy, take 15 3-pointers, not run the court. I mean,
which then takes away from what the team was doing to get there, and then also leads to possible injury. I mean, he could. I don't know. He could probably break his ear, and that's all cartilage. He'd be the only person ever to be out with,
come out with an ear mask.
Well, I mean, Embiid has an earlobe injury. It'd be
he would have a full mask with the ear covers.
He'll have the mask. He'll have them earmuffs.
Yeah.
and still,
just put a helmet on him.
And still drop 30.
First NBA player with a helmet. One of those soft helmets you see the new guy. You see those guys wearing them?
Hey, I wanted to ask you this. I do have a top 10.
Okay.
And I do have some teams to see who the players are. The baseball season's going to start soon. I see Carlos Estevez got signed. So what?
Yes.
I don't care. I mean, that's no big. To me, the Phillies not signing him is a good thing.
Great move. Yeah.
Yeah, let him go to Kansas City. I mean, okay.
Whatever. I don't care where any team would. I actually was hoping he would go to a rival.
And well, here's the thing: if he's any good, you can get him at the trade day.
He's not any good.
But no, you don't want that.
No.
Spring training, apparently there is a rumor that MLB is going to try to see how it goes with robo umpires.
A rumor? They haven't decided yet?
Well, I'm saying rumor. I think they're actually doing it. I think they're doing it.
Every team or just some?
That's a good question. I mean, when I said rumor, I meant that tongue in cheek. I meant, yeah, they're going to give it a shot coming up. I'm interested to see how they're going to do it.
Well, they already did it in the minors. So, I mean, it's already established. It's not like it's something they don't have.
I saw like in the minors. Okay, you're in the batter's box. The pitch comes in. The umpire calls it a strike. You think it was a ball. You do this.
Right.
And if I don't know how many challenges you get in the bat, then a light goes on. Okay. If they change it, they change it. Same thing with a pitcher. If he throws a pitch, called a ball, he thinks it's a strike. You just, hey, let's see.
Well, how does it get it wrong?
I don't think it can.
Oh, wait. Oh, right. They challenge because if there's an umpire. That's right. Okay.
Right.
I thought they were challenging the robocall. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, how does...
See, that's a good question. I don't think it's just going. I don't think it's going to be robo umps making every call. I think what happens is per at bat. Let's say the batter and the pitcher per at bat get 2 challenges.
Why even bother if you're going to fix it anyway? Why not get every call correct?
There you go.
Tennis did it. It worked for tennis.
Sure.
They don't have line judges anymore. They have a computer saying out. It still has the same effect, but there's no wrong calls anymore. They don't have to take time to challenge.
There's no new John McEnroe who can go over and argue. And
right.
What are you going to argue with, a machine?
Right.
Now, I guess there has to be some fail safe in there, because if the machine's starting to call strikes that are 8 inches.
Well, that's my question. How does the machine adjust for each batter?
Exactly.
You got some guys are 6'5", some are 5'8". I mean, what do you do?
I guess it's not hard. I mean, I guess before the season starts,
they enter in each player.
I guess that would be my guess.
The machine knows that it's
right.
It's Mike Trout batting versus Doug Glenn. I don't know, whoever, a tall player. Aaron Judge.
Yeah. Well, what would happen is you would have the Phillies facing a batter, and then all of a sudden it's like he's not in the computer. What? What do you mean?
Yeah.
So, well,
the
computer doesn't recognize this guy, right? and yeah, because, well, I think, like I said, for me, what changed baseball, and even though it's been there so long and you're so used to it, is the box that they put up.
Yeah.
Because it's just not right when you can show that the ball was a ball and the umpire called it a strike. Okay, well, it's like.
Well, I think 20 years from now, our grandkids we'll be watching the game with them, and we'll be telling them there used to be a guy back there calling balls and strikes. And they'll say, "Really?"
And he would get it wrong. Yeah. And they would show on TV that he got it wrong.
Yeah.
Being
an umpire, I mean, it's probably a job that's not going to exist.
Maybe.
The little leagues that have money will probably also be able to buy the system.
True, and that's what I'm saying. You would have that system for the bases and for everything. I mean, it would be simple. I mean, given the way technology is going, I mean, it would be real simple to do it, and you could just eliminate that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how the game goes, because so much of it over the course of our lifetime was based on maybe the umpire got it wrong, or you live with the call, or the bang bang play at first base, where now you can challenge it. And even now in the NBA, just some of that stuff, I mean, it's not what we grew up with, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
The top 10 for this week.
And we have teams? We're doing the teams?
Yep, we'll do teams after the top 10.
Okay.
This, I think this one will be fun. I'm struggling a little bit to get some top 10s. Hopefully,
I mean, I enjoyed the teams thing. That was fun for me.
Yep, we'll do that too here.
Yeah.
Top 10 duos / teammates in Philadelphia history, and I say duos because coaches are included.
Wow. Jeez, I wasn't ready for this one. Huh. Well, strangely, the first one comes to mind is it's Allen Iverson, but I don't know who to duo him with.
I know I didn't either, and I think I just gave it away.
He didn't either. Oh, Larry Brown and Allen Iverson.
That's why. That's right.
What number?
I have that one as number 7.
Okay.
Because what player would you put? Eric Snow?
I don't know.
Aaron McKee, Mutombo.
Well, he was Flight Brothers with Larry Hughes.
Yeah. Larry Hughes, who was taken before Paul Pierce.
Yeah, from St. Louis.
Before Dirk Nowitzki.
Right.
Oh.
Wow. This is harder. This is going to be tough. All right. So, Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens.
See, now I was going to go that way. Donovan McNabb is number 6, but he's
Brian Westbrook.
No. Go back to the previous answer.
What? It's T.O., I said.
Andy Reid.
Oh, he coach again. Oh.
And we're out of coaches now.
Okay.
But you're right. It could be T.O. It's going to be Todd Pinkston.
Right.
So it's always McNabb Reid.
Okay. What number is that?
To me, that's number 6.
Oh, how about Jerome Brown and Reggie White?
Number 5.
Nice. All right. Eric Lindros and John LeClaire.
Number 4.
Good.
Moving up the list.
Moving up, yeah. It's hard. A Phillies one's tough. Because they, I guess Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton.
Number 1 on my list.
Yes.
Number 1. I actually have 1, 2. I have 3 more Phillies.
Ryan Howard, Chase Utley.
Not Howard. But you could put
Jimmy,
Howard in.
Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley.
I have Rollins instead because of the double play combination. They're there, but
they were the middle infielders. Yeah.
Ryan Howard there, correct.
Howard didn't make the list with anybody.
I don't have him here, and you Ryan Howard's a duo all by himself.
Yeah. What? You have anybody from the '93 Phillies?
Yes.
Lenny Dykstra?
No.
Um,
I'll give you a clue. It was the starting battery of the All-Star game.
Kurt Schilling and Darren Dalton.
Terry Mulholland.
Mulholland started?
I know you would think it was Schilling.
Wow.
Yeah. That was I think I'm right. The last Phillies battery to start an All-Star game.
Wow.
And before that, it was Carlton Boone.
Okay.
I have one more. Let me see here. I have one more Phillies. And I have an Eagles and a 76ers.
Maurice Cheeks and Julius Erving.
I went back and forth on Maurice Cheeks, and I put someone else.
Bobby Jones.
No.
Moses Malone.
Moses, but you're right. For the longevity, it would have been Maurice Cheeks.
You can even say Charles Barkley and Rick Mahorn.
You could thump and bump.
Yeah.
I think my brother had a shirt that had them on it. Said thump.
Yeah, I think that was around the time of the Simpsons T-shirts.
Yeah.
They're probably worth some money now.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So since we're going with those kind of, I think we're going to go with Thunder and Lightning, Ricky Waters and Charlie Garner.
No, and I actually thought about that one. If there was going to be an 11, that's what it would be.
Okay. Was another Eagle?
There's one Eagles, and there's one Phillies left.
Offense or defense?
Offense obviously for the Eagles. And this was what kind of started it, but it was only because of how they opened up a Monday night against Washington, because they just beat Washington.
Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, it was them too. And the Phillies, it's a combination from 2008. Not so much for what they did so much during the game, but after.
I was going to say Brad Lidge and Carlos Ruiz.
Answer.
That's the answer?
That was the hug.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the answer.
Yeah.
What they did got them there, but whenever you think of those two, you think of them meeting halfway between home plate and the mound.
I got the whole list.
There you go.
A little assistance, but yeah, we got it all.
All right. Now, for those who are just joining us, I've randomly picked 10 different franchises, and no current players are on the list. You just mentioned the three players that come to mind first.
Okay.
And we'll see where we agree. The first one, the Boston Celtics.
Larry Bird. Robert Parrish. Kevin McHale.
And instead of Parrish, I have Danny Ainge.
Yeah, he was in the next one.
There you go. Or DJ on the list. You put him there. Here will be this one. This one will be fun. Seattle Supersonics.
Dale Ellis, Sean Kemp, and Sam Perkins.
Wow, not bad. Not bad. I have Sean Kemp, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Deadlift Shrimp.
Yep.
Gary Payton.
Yeah, Detlef Schrempf played a lot of his career with the Indiana Pacers as well.
He did. A defunct team, but still on my list tonight. The Houston Oilers.
Well, obviously Warren Moon comes to mind. Eddie George comes to mind.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Oh man. Wow. I can't even think of a third. How about Mike Munchak? That's the center. Munchak.
And I went back further because I'm older than you. Earl Campbell.
Yeah.
And back in those days, Dan Pastorini was a guy I always
I know the name.
And of course, Warren Moon is obvious.
Yeah.
A team we mentioned earlier, the New Orleans Saints.
Wow. Alvin Kamara is the first one, but he's not playing. He's active. Drew Brees, obviously.
Right.
Jeez. Morton Anderson.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
He's not on my list, but yeah.
Oh, and jeez.
Go way back.
Tom Dempsey.
That could make the list. Archie Manning.
Okay.
And Deuce McAllister came to mind.
Yeah. Out of Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to test you one of these weeks on the colleges because you're so good at that. New York Rangers.
Mark Messier, Wayne Gretzky, and Mike Gartner for some reason comes to mind.
I have Mark Messier, obviously. When I did this of nicknames, I don't think there was a cooler nickname given to anyone than the Messiah that went because he brought them the cup.
Yeah.
How about these two? Mike Richter and John Van Beesbrook. Yeah.
John Van Beesbrook was actually from the next town from where I grew up. He was from Havertown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Baltimore Orioles.
Cal Ripken. What else we got? I'm trying to think of pitchers. Mike Boddicker.
Yeah, good name.
And geez, this is tough. Like Rafael Palmeiro come to mind.
Oh wow!
I know he plays for Texas.
Yeah, I had another first baseman there, Eddie Murray.
Yeah, Eddie Murray definitely.
Only because I see him every time I watch an Orioles game because he's announcer, Jim Palmer.
Oh, okay.
Remember the next big thing who was the bust, Ben McDonald. He was supposed to be the next great pitcher and just
Ben McDonald around the same time as the other Ben Sheets.
Oh yeah, exactly. And
Milwaukee.
This did not work. Chicago White Sox.
Whew. Bo Jackson.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I don't have him, but that's a good one.
Frank Thomas. And Bobby Thigpen.
Yeah, I have him.
Yeah.
Connection, exactly.
Yeah.
I have Carlton Fisk here, but
okay.
Bobby Thigpen, yeah, because at one point he was the MLB saves leader per season for a season.
Well, yeah, he was a converted starter, right? He used to be a starter.
I think he was, and then the Phillies got him.
Of course. Of course, the Phillies got him.
Yeah.
He couldn't get an out.
I don't think he did. Did you get a couple hits off him that one game?
Yeah, everybody in the stands did.
And of course, it became Pigpen out of Thigpen. But
Yep.
the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Every time I think you're going to say the one sport, you go with. I'm thinking Indians is coming, and my mind starts going, and then you say the Cavaliers. Whew, Mark Price.
Good name.
Yeah. What's his name? Bobby Phills. Remember that name? And Danny Ferry.
Not bad.
I'm just going first three to come to mind. That's the game, right? I'm not trying to name the best.
No. It's the first three that comes to mind.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
That's like I said. I'm doing a random thing like this and trying.
Yeah. I got another name. Terrell Brandon.
Whew, good name too. And the first three that came to mind for me, it was LeBron James.
He's still playing.
What's that?
You can't say LeBron.
Can't. He's not. I can't play my own game. What am I doing? Okay, well, he still came to mind first. That's wrong.
You could have gone Shaquille O'Neal, Dwayne Wade.
I know. I'm going to go with Mark Price, though. I got to put him down here. Mark Price is great. Brad Doherty, because he should have been a Sixer.
Yeah.
Craig Elo.
Yeah. 3-point shooter. Yeah.
Okay, Atlanta Hawks.
Dominique Wilkins. For some reason, John Koncak.
Oh, yeah. It's a great name.
And, Kevin Willis.
Yeah, I have Kevin Willis down, too. I have Mutombo.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, so who the Sixers... I don't even remember who the Sixers sent to the Hawks in that trade, and I probably should.
Well, for Mutombo?
Yeah, do you remember?
Theo Ratliff.
Oh, see, I should have remembered that.
I'm sure it was somebody else too. I think it was a couple other players, but it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. To round out the list, this one, well, I'll be surprised, but anyway, St. Louis Blues.
Brett Hull.
Absolutely.
Once again, Wayne Gretzky.
You put Gretzky there, yeah.
And oh, I don't know. Wow, that's tough. I'm trying to think of a goaltender for the Blues. Wow. I have Langway in my mind. He played for Washington. Did he play for the Blues ever? I'm trying to find this trade too.
That I don't know if he played for the Blues, but there was a guy who came over who was a great player for the Blues. He came to the Flyers, but he ended up getting hurt.
Oh yeah, Chris Pronger.
Pronger, yep. And I have Bernie Federko, arguably the greatest Blue ever. But if you're not a Blues fan, you're not going to know him.
What's his name? Bernie Federko.
Huh?
Who?
Yeah, Bernie Federko.
Is that from a movie?
No.
I never heard of him.
80s.
Bernie Federko. I'm looking him up now.
Speaking of Flyers, right now they're down 1-0. Not surprising.
Wow, you're right. Theo Ratliff, the Tombo trade. I got to see who else was involved.
Yeah, the Chris Pronger. I always have an interesting Chris Pronger story. I don't own many Philadelphia sports jerseys with players' names on the back. And I always liked Pronger. When he came to Philadelphia, I eventually got a Pronger shirt. He got hurt the next day, and that was it.
I have the entire Sixers trade. It was a 6-player trade, right?
Here we go.
Kevin Mutombo went to Atlanta. The Sixers sent Theo Ratliff and left-handed guard from Croatia that played for the Chicago Bulls and won championships with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, I know, and I'm forgetting. Kukoc, yeah,
Tony Kukoc.
Right, that was the guy who I was forgetting in that trade.
Now the Sixers got back 3 other players. One I believe played for Duke. I won't get him. Rashawn McLeod. They also got a center from Kentucky who stayed here for a long time.
Yeah, bald head.
Nazi Muhammad.
Oh, Nazi Muhammad. Yeah, I was thinking of somebody else.
And they got a guard from Temple that took Temple pretty far in the tournament.
I'm not going to get him.
Yeah, you know him, left-hander from Argentina. How about that Pepe Sanchez?
Oh my God, why am I blanking on him? You shouldn't blank on him. Pepe Sanchez.
Pepe Sanchez.
When's the last time he was mentioned on any Philadelphia sports radio?
None.
Pepe Sanchez, but yeah, and I guess the Sixers making the finals, that trade was worth it, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, in retrospect, I mean, he couldn't. Mutombo was just not enough for Shaq. Nobody was. I mean, nobody was going to stand up to Shaq. Ratliff would have probably been more of a defensive force, but I mean, he was having a great year. But he left here and never did anything. Theo Ratliff.
He stayed in the league a long time.
Yeah, but he never won anything or never became a superstar.
No. You know what? The only thing I wanted to mention before we got finished here, and we've touched on this a few times, and I don't know because I haven't kept up with it as much as I used to. But the Royal Rumble will be this week on Saturday.
Any players that aren't wrestlers?
I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be any this time, unless there's a surprise.
Did I say players?
Anybody, any player who might be in it, like
I meant like from sports, from other sports,
like Shaquille O'Neal was in the Battle Royal and things like that.
Right.
At this point, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they did it in either the men or the women's through somebody in there. If I was.
Is that going to be on televised, or we have to pay $100 or whatever to watch it?
No. If you have Peacock, it should be on Peacock.
Okay.
I believe they're still doing because the Raw now moved to Netflix, but I think it should be available on Peacock. Okay. No, it should be interesting because they're making a big deal about John Cena and it being like his farewell tour. People think he's going to win it and then go on to main event WrestleMania. Maybe
he's not big enough to win a Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
I can't see how he could win it. I mean, two guys could just get him and throw him right out. Yeah,
and sometimes it usually ends up that way that the smaller guy might win. I mean, CM Punk might win it this year. I don't know. If I was,
are they predetermined as well? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the whole script is, I mean, or did he kind of let them play it out? Like they tell them the entire order?
Yep.
Wow. Why don't they let it for once? Just let it be real. I'd love to see who would win.
I would love it. Just like back in.
Why not do it? I know it has to be storylines and stuff, but just let it go. They really had Hacksaw Jim Duggan win it one year. Like, what does that prove?
He won the first one.
Yeah, like why? I mean, why would he be picked to be the winner? That doesn't make any sense.
He was a big guy back then. He was popular,
but he had no he was plain. It was like he had a board on his shoulder. That was his gimmick.
If you ever want to see some funny matches, Google his matches from like the early '80s where he's wrestling Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, really? I never saw him wrestle Hogan.
Hogan. It was back when Hogan was the heel originally in WWF. And Duggan's just a job guy. He's just in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They made him a star from that, yeah?
No.
His big Hacksaw Jim Duggan, when I think of him, his big rival, Junkyard Dog.
Him and Junkyard Dog from the Mid-South was they were big then. The Mid-South wrestling territory, and Bill Watts, a guy who a lot of wrestling fans know, he made Duggan a star. And then when Vince was buying up all the big names, he bought him.
Okay.
So and brought him over as a star from there. He won the first one. There's an interesting story, kind of. I think this story was that the NWA was running a pay-per-view the same night, and their pay-per-view consisted of what they called the Bunkhouse Battle Royal, where you come as you are, you can bring weapons and different things. And that was the feature of, I think it was their finals of the Bunkhouse Battle Royal. And the WWE then countered on free USA TV with the first Royal Rumble just to stick it to them.
Okay.
And they kept going with the Royal Rumble after that. And then eventually, I believe, starting in 93, because 92, the winner of the Royal Rumble was Ric Flair, and the winner became WWE champion.
Yeah.
After that, whoever won the Royal Rumble could pick a champion to wrestle on main event WrestleMania.
Do I remember Honky Tonk Man winning one?
No, I wish he did. He was probably in a bunch, but I wish he won.
Yeah. I think I could have sworn he got to the end of one. Like he was in there.
I'm sure he was probably in there at the end of some of them. I mean, I know Austin. I think Austin won 3. I think Vince McMahon won 1. I know. It's so funny.
Was he the last one in?
Mr. McMahon won 1. I know.
Was he the last guy to come in?
I'm trying to remember this. I think what happened was,
because how could he have eliminated somebody one-on-one?
Yeah, I think what happened was he went up against Austin, and Austin injured him. And instead of being thrown over the top rope, he rolled out, and they stretched him in an ambulance like to the hospital, and then he came back.
Austin just stood there and waited for him?
I don't know. I think Austin may have been thrown out, or he snuck in at the end after Austin thought he won it because he didn't think the man was coming back. They've done that. They've done that a few times.
Was that the one where he was in the hospital bed and he came in and followed him into the hospital?
That was on Raw one night when they did that. That's still one of the funniest skits they ever did because he hit him with that bedpan and it made the sound. Yeah, and then he gave him an enema.
Yeah. And then Austin had the fake leg on the wheelchair too, didn't he? The fake broken leg.
I am trying to. He may have done that. Kevin Nash did that at one point too, which was really good. Yeah. The fake broken leg was really good. Yeah, I mean, it's on Friday nights now on USA because SmackDown went down. Like I said, Raw is now on Netflix live, but then I think you can go in and watch the episodes from like weeks before. I think they keep it on. They keep it on there like that. The only thing I caught up on recently was, and I don't know, did you watch Murder in a Small Town?
No, I've seen it. I know of it. I haven't watched it though. Yeah,
I thought I was mistaken. I thought it was one complete story. I thought each episode. I didn't know each episode was its own individual story.
It's like that. What was that other show we were watching with the court hearings? Remember that last couple of years?
Yeah, Accused.
Accused, yeah. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
Okay.
Everything happens in this town, but it's
the same town.
Same town, yep.
And nobody ever crosses each other's paths. Different people.
No. It's like it centers around about a handful of the same people, and then different things happen in the town where, of course, somebody ends up getting murdered. And
I can't believe 78 people are watching us talk about TV shows.
Police chief has to solve it. Hey, anybody's free to chime in and let us know.
This is the way we used to do it back in the day when we had 2 people watching us.
Yeah, I know. Well, and what's good is now when this is on YouTube and all, because I've seen it, that there's it gets watched throughout the week.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's good.
Well, nothing new from me. I haven't watched anything.
Yeah, I mean, what to look forward to next week? We'll have more in depth definitely about the Super Bowl. We're just excited.
We'll have predictions. We'll have the way we think the game's going to go. Hey, cross my fingers. We've been right on all year.
Yeah, and I know the way you're leaning. I'm leaning the same way. And
Patrick Mahomes' all-time record is 89-13 and 23. 89-23. He's only lost 23 games in his career.
How many playoff games has he lost? Whew.
I think. What I want to say, 3 or 4.
It's not many, is it?
Yeah, because he's only been in the league 7 years, 8 years, and he's won it 3 times. So, I mean, he has like at the most 5 losses.
It was funny when I saw on social media where, and I think somebody made this up then, where like Taylor Swift wasn't at the game. I think they were either in Cleveland or they were in Cincinnati or whatever. She wasn't there at the Chiefs game, and they said, "Well, she's boycotting all states that went red in the election." Well, it's like, well, she wouldn't go to any home games because Missouri was red,
right? And the whole Chiefs ownership is, and she's not going to be at the Super Bowl then.
I mean, yeah, Louisiana's red. I mean, she might as well just sing the national anthem and get it over with.
Or you're a book fan. What do you think about the Super Bowl being in New Orleans? Does that ring a bell? No?
Wow.
What's the movie?
The movie?
Isn't it a John Grisham book? The Super Bowl. What's the movie called? Where the Super Bowl blows up at the end? No way, you don't know this. There's no possible way that Chris Amos doesn't know this story.
I don't.
Well, it looks like you're going to be watching a movie from Bobby Cash for once.
Yeah, I know there's one where the Stanley Cup Finals blows up.
Really?
Yeah.
The Stanley Cup Final. That's news to me.
That's I think it's Sudden Impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
The movie's the sum of all. Maybe it's not John Grisham, and I'm going to look like an idiot, but it's the sum of all fears.
Oh, that's I know who wrote it.
Not John Grisham.
No, Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy. Okay. But you don't know this. You've never seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh wow.
I will as soon as possible. I'm going to actually see if it's on free for me right now. Some of all fears. Yeah. Yeah.
What are the odds? I mean, if the Eagles are playing in the Super Bowl in New Orleans, and that's what happened. That's where it was.
No, it's on for rent or buy from.
Well, I bet you're wondering. I'm not going to tell you, but I bet you're wondering how they blow up the stadium.
Well, I'll have to watch it.
It's scary as hell when you find out.
Or read it. You know, I saw Hunt for Red October. I just never was just reading and going back to like Patriot games and some of those. Jack Ryan just.
I agree with you. Those kind of movies don't do it for me, but this one was just because it was a sports theme. I had to watch it. Yeah,
and this one, it probably just was okay. It's from a Clancy movie, and I just and Harrison Ford, you know, and no, it just didn't, and I don't know why, but
You want me to tell you how they do it, or not?
Sure.
A soda machine.
Oh, they detonate. When
soda machine is basically they bring it in as a Coke machine. It's actually a bomb.
Oh my God.
That's scary or what?
Whew. Was it Coke or Pepsi?
I think it was Coke.
It probably was.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was. But it's like, who thinks of something like that? It's like giving them an idea. But I guess since the movie, they probably checked the hell out of those. They probably don't even allow them in the stadium.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, you're right. They might not. I'll tell you what though. And I was talking to an Eagles fan earlier today about it just being in New Orleans when I was doing wrestling. New Orleans was my favorite place to go. I loved going.
Wow, John Kincaid said the same thing this morning. He said that New Orleans is the best place to have a Super Bowl.
Oh, look, we did. This was back in 1998. It was a pay-per-view called November to Remember.
I remember that.
This one was on November the 1st at the UNO Lakefront Arena. The night before, it's Halloween on Bourbon Street. We had a float in the Halloween parade going down Bourbon Street, which is packed, solid. I mean, it was amazing that a parade could take place with all these people, and you could everyone like hanging out of the balcony. Mm-hmm. Just
how big is Bourbon Street? Like, how long is it?
I'm going to say half mile or less.
No, it's like South Street.
I think so. I'm not positive.
Like, and how far is Bourbon Street from the Superdome?
15
is it right there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because the one time I promoted a show at the Superdome, I went to see the Saints Niners.
You did a show at the Superdome?
No, I promoted an ECW show in New Orleans at the Superdome. I handed out flyers. I handed out flyers for the show at the Superdome.
Isn't the Superdome like a dump?
It was horrible.
Yeah, I can't believe they're having a Super Bowl there.
It's been over 20 years, so hopefully they have done some renovations and all to it. The only thing I remember about that was, I think it was 35-0 after the first quarter. The Niners were beating the Saints.
Wow.
It was really bad. Let me see if I can get this real quick before we end. How long is if I can type properly? How long is Bourbon Street? And of course, this is going to show me how long it's going to take to get from here to Bourbon Street, not how long it is. I apologize for that. I wonder if I can talk it in.
It just seems like seeing the Superdome on TV that there's nowhere to park. It seems like it's so congested that there's no like open spaces.
I'm trying to remember. I just remember the funniest thing was I had to tell my partner, well, no, we have to be there, because he was planning on being there. I said, well, we have to be there an hour earlier than that to do it, because he didn't realize there was a time difference. New Orleans is an hour.
Right.
It's an hour behind us, but
right. So the game will be 5:30 local time.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing to go back and visit New Orleans. I mean, now and see it compared to how it was. Do you think the Eagles they'll be there for the whole week? They'll go down like Monday or Sunday. Yeah, they have to, right? It's like, I guess
they have to do all the interviews and stuff. It's all required.
Yeah, you do all the media, and then you have your walkthrough practices, and you have.
Why aren't we going? We should be there on media row. I mean, we're the.
I've tried to have this discussion with Larry, and he keeps saying he's busy. He's working on his bench press, so.
We're the Philadelphia podcast. Why are we not there?
Anyway,
we could easily get credentials.
Sure. You want to fly or?
No, I don't fly.
You don't fly?
Never, especially after what happened last night.
Oh my God! Don't. Well, I was going to suggest helicopter. Just.
Nope. I'll drive. You can fly. I'll drive. I'll see you there.
No. I'm not going to miss that. We could do a few shows just from the drive.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a lot of fun.
What do you do? Head down 95 and then shoot over? Or is there a road that goes on an angle all the way through? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I've never driven. I was always fortunate enough to be able to fly, but
okay.
I'm sure you just take 95, head south. Eventually, you'll find a way over to New Orleans. Now, let me ask you this: Would you eat the cuisine?
Yeah, sure.
Good. Yeah. When I was doing ECW, the few times I was there with my partner, the guy partner I was with when I was with Dan,
mm-hmm.
he wouldn't eat that.
No,
he's looking for McDonald's and Subway.
Well, I've never had what are they called, beignets, or that's the dessert, right? And then you have the gumbo and the crawfish soup and all that stuff.
The gumbo, I remember I had outstanding swordfish at a place there one night. I remember that. So it used to be fun. I mean, and used to go to Hard Rock Cafe that was there. I remember seeing. I saw the band live. You know the band live.
Yeah. The rock group.
Yeah, they're from York, but I remember seeing them there. They just happened to be there the one time I was there. So no, it was good old days.
Nice.
We'll break down more of the Super Bowl next week. We'll see if the Sixers can keep it rolling. I mean, they played well the last 4 games. We'll see.
Yes, sir. They were supposed to lose these games, but somehow they're winning them.
Amazing, isn't it? I mean, I thought for sure they'd lose last night to Sacramento, because Sacramento wasn't even coming off a back-to-back.
I know. But they just outplayed them. They got down by 12, and they just... Huh?
Yeah, and everybody was healthy for Sacramento also.
Yeah,
so
didn't matter.
I guess we're striving for that 10 seed. We just have to be 10.
Yep.
Hey, get Jimmy Butler, get healthy, get in.
Hey, why not?
Thank you, everyone. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris. Good night,
See you
everyone.
next week. Have a good night.
Good night.